Welcome to the channel. Marcus Aurelius says that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. We should listen twice as much as we speak, which means we should observe and reflect twice as much as we do anything else. He said that the secret difference between reacting and responding, between acting hastily and thoughtfully, is our ability to pause, reflect, and choose. We all feel things. We feel emotions, moods, and sensations. But did you know that you can't actually feel anything? And when you understand this, your life will change forever. Because what Marcus Aurelius is saying here in Meditations is that everything you feel is a choice, is a translation of events into feeling states. It's how you interpret those events that determines whether or not you're upset by them, whether or not you're happy about them, whether or not they evoke fear or sadness or anger or frustration. This idea is the cornerstone of Stoicism. It's the central idea of the entire philosophy. Epictetus says it even more bluntly. He says that it's impossible to feel anything that you don't choose to feel. So why are we then so reactive? Why do we let our emotions get the better of us? So often we seem to lack control over ourselves. Yet Marcus Aurelius says that we always have this freedom to choose, this freedom to respond, to reflect before we act. To realize that everything you feel is a choice is an incredibly empowering idea. It means that no external event or person has any power over you unless you choose to give it to them. When you understand that everything you feel is a choice, you'll never be the same again. I want you to think of 2 people who are both listening to the exact same piece of music. They both hear the exact same notes, but one person thinks it's beautiful and the other thinks it's terrible. One person thinks it's discordant and chaotic and unpleasant. Another person thinks it's moving and powerful and profound. What determines whether you find the music beautiful or terrible? Whether you like the painting or hate it? Whether you find the movie sad or funny? It's the meaning that you choose to ascribe to it. It's your interpretation of the events that determine your emotional state. You see, there's a very subtle but crucial difference between the statement, "I am in pain," and "I am choosing to feel pain right now." On the surface, they seem identical, but they're actually quite different. The first statement implies that you're a victim of pain. You're at the mercy of whatever caused the pain to befall you. It implies a lack of control, almost a fatalism, a sense that there was nothing you could do to avoid the pain, and there's nothing you can do now to make it stop. The second statement, "I am choosing to feel pain right now," changes everything. It puts you back in the driver's seat. It gives you agency. It allows you to take responsibility for your choices. And when you realize that you have that kind of power, you'll never be the same. As Seneca says, it is not the events that upset us, but our opinions about the events. That's what he says in his letter to Lucilius. He goes on to say that the first step towards tranquility is the ability to recognize this, to understand that it's not what happens that causes our distress, but rather the meaning we ascribe to what happens. He says you could stop expecting certain things from others and you would have less heartache. That's from letter 73. Why does a pessimist see the glass half empty while the optimist sees it half full? It's because each person chooses to focus on something different. The optimist focuses on what they do have, while the pessimist focuses on what they don't have. The optimist finds reasons to be optimistic. The pessimist finds reasons to be pessimistic. Marcus Aurelius says that the difference between a rational and an irrational animal is that the rational animal can choose its response. A dog is not capable of that. A dog doesn't have the luxury of choosing how to respond to things. A dog acts based on instincts, on immediate reactions. An irrational person is like a dog. They act based on immediate impulses, on feelings and hunches and intuitions, without stopping to consider the implications of their actions. A rational person is someone who pauses, who reflects and then chooses how to act. And here's the thing. If you're not consciously choosing how to act, you're still choosing. You might not be aware of it, but at some level your subconscious is still making the decision for you. So it's better to be conscious about it, to take responsibility for your actions, to acknowledge that you're choosing to feel a certain way about something. Even if it's not something you're consciously aware of, it's still happening. You're still choosing to respond in a certain way to the things that happen to you. You might as well be conscious of it, own it, take responsibility for it. Because as Marcus Aurelius says, the chief task in life is to distinguish between what's up to us and what's not up to us, between what we can control and what we can't. When you realize that everything you feel is a choice, you realize that everything you feel is ultimately within your control. And this is a crucial idea to grasp. You have no control over the fact that someone might speak to you rudely, or that someone might betray you, or that someone might die, or that you might lose your job, or that you might get sick, or that you might age, or that you might die. You can't control the fact that these things happen, but you do have control over how you choose to feel about them, how you choose to respond to them, and that's really the only thing that matters. There's a story about a king who had 2 sons, and he wanted to make sure that they were brave. So when the older son was born, he ordered that the child be put in a basket along with a lion, a bear, and a fox. And then the basket was lowered into a pit, and the king wanted to see if the boy would be able to fight off the lion, the bear, and the fox, and survive. But the boy wasn't scared at all. He made friends with the lion and the bear and the fox. They became friends. And when the king realized this, he had the boy pulled out of the pit. And he said, "You weren't scared at all. Don't you realize that there was a lion in there that could have killed you?" And the boy said, "Father, I wasn't scared at all because I didn't think the lion wanted to eat me. In fact, I thought he wanted to be my friend." The king asked him, "But what about the bear?" And the boy said, "The bear was just trying to keep its friends close. It didn't want to eat me." Then the king asked him, "What about the fox?" And the boy said, "The fox was scared of the lion and the bear, so he wasn't going to hurt me either." Then the king said, "Well, what about the flies? There were also flies in that pit. Were you not scared of the flies?" And the boy said, "Father, I wasn't scared of the flies because I knew they were too small to sting me and too stupid to find me worthy of their sting. I wasn't scared of them at all." And then the king said, "That's right. It's not the things that scare us, not the things that hurt us. It's our opinion about those things, our interpretation of them. It's our belief about them that causes us pain. It's our belief about the things that causes us to be upset." And this is such an important lesson to learn. The king realized that the boy wasn't scared of anything in the pit, not the lion, not the bear, not the fox, because the boy had chosen to view those animals in a certain light. He had chosen to see them not as dangerous predators, but as potential friends. And so, it's not the events that cause us pain, Marcus Aurelius says. It's our opinions about the events. It's our beliefs about the events. So next time you feel upset or angry or frustrated, ask yourself, am I choosing to feel this way? Because you always have the option of choosing differently. You always have the option of choosing to see things in a different light. You always have the option of choosing to respond instead of reacting. Now tell me, have you subscribed to this channel? If no, then what are you waiting for? Do that now.